Hey everybody, I'm hoping that this is working because it's only the second time I've ever done this. So hopefully you guys are able to log in and see what's going on. It seems like my video is live, so let's hope that it really truly is. If not, then I'll be talking to myself for a little bit. Anyway, for those of you guys that are getting ready to join me, I've kind of given you guys a little bit of teaser, and honestly, I wasn't doing a teaser to be mean. I was doing a teaser because I had no time to actually open up this box. I've been so excited. So yeah, it looks like a few of you guys are online. So welcome to my live broadcast, the second one only that I've ever done this method. So hopefully this works. Can you guys hear me? My mic doesn't show that it's actually putting out sound, so hopefully it is. Hello, Jocelyn and Elaine. So yay, a couple of you guys are there. Hey, Mary Lou. So sorry, you guys. First of all, there's a couple things that are happening here. I don't know if you guys have ever seen my setup. Let me see if I can show you guys a little bit of my setup here. I have one of my cameras that can kind of zoom out a little bit. Let me show you guys this really quick. So this is kind of looking over my shoulder here, but you guys can see I've got my iPad right here, and on my iPad, let me show you guys what this looks like. See if you guys can see this a little bit. Hang on, let's try a different angle. There we go. So here is where I'm kind of running everything. Well, over here on this other side, I have another iPad where I'm actually trying to read what you say. So one side I can actually try to run things. The other side I am looking to see how things are going and if anybody's here or if I'm alone or if whatever. So, and then there's on the top of that, there's like a 12-second lag. So it's a little bit disconcerting. See, I just woke up from a nap. Today has been crazy. Like, I woke up at like 6 o'clock this morning, and of course that's always fun on a Saturday morning, but I went to bed at 2, and then I've been to Disney on Ice. I've been on the train twice today. It's been a crazy day. So hopefully something coherent will come out of my mouth for you all. Hello, Mandy and Rosadell. Thank you guys so much for joining me. So, okay, I really truly was not trying to be coy when I put out the little teaser about what is in this box. And like I said, my life has just been so crazy. Boom, 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 boom. And it came yesterday and I was so excited. And I have exercised a great amount of restraint in not just jumping in and opening this up, because I know what this is, and this has been months in the development and in the making, and I'm so excited to finally have this. So without any further gobbledygook from me, let's find out what's inside. So let me show you guys what I'm looking at here. Okay, so here's my box. Of course, this is the one from Pepe Tools. And let's see if I can get it to actually open now. Let me tell you, these guys actually know how to tape their boxes. It's kind of like Potter USA. You get their boxes and you can't get into them because they're taped so stinking well. That's kind of how these guys are. Let's see. So let's see what we've got. And it is a new disc cutter, but not just a new disc cutter. Check this baby out. So this guy is so awesome because it is ovals. So I don't know about you guys or how you guys do your ovals when you try to make oval discs. Hey you guys, sorry. Like I said, I'm trying to do like 3 things at once. So hello Lindsay and Sharon, I'm so glad I'm feeling better. And Marlene, yay for the drum roll. So, but yes, check this out, you guys. So there are, I believe, 6 different sizes of the ovals that are on this, which is totally cool. And I don't know about you, but if I want an oval disc, I actually have to cut it out either with a jeweler's saw or with a lot of times I'll take a circle and I'll put it into my rolling mill. So I'll cut out a disc just with my disc cutter, put it into the rolling mill, and pray that I get some sort of a normal oval, if you will. So on this, you'll notice that there's an oil that's on everything. Now, that's something that's going to be pretty normal. Yes, you guys all totally need this. Do I use the exact same tool to open up my boxes? Mary Lou, scissors are my pal. Scissors are my best friend. You guys, I totally forgot to grab a paper towel. I grabbed everything but a paper towel. So, I'm very sorry. Give me 2 seconds. Let me go grab a paper towel so I can wipe this off and then I can demonstrate everything for you. Hold on, please. Let me actually give you guys a good angle so you can kind of look and see what it is. So let me give you a different view here real quick. Hold on 2 seconds. So you'll notice that there is the base, which is fantastic. It's a base that's very similar to what we have with the round disc cutter, and it holds everything nice and organized. It's labeled so it's easy to find where things are. In addition, you're also going to get the urethane pad, which I love. This is how I always protect my discs or my cutters themselves. You've got your base, and it has a spot for each of the different punches. So now, like I was saying, when you get tools, often they come wrapped up in this kind of a paper. And this paper is one where it is kind of an oiled paper. And what that oiled paper does is it allows for you to have your tool not rust while it is sitting in storage or whatever else. Oh, you guys, look how pretty this is. Okay, so very, very similar to the round disc cutters. Okay, so here we go. So if I can wipe this down a little bit. Very similar to our round disc cutters. In the base, we still have this. This is my favorite system ever. But you have this punch clearance system where you will clear the entire punch when you go to punch through. I guess it helps to put it in the right one. But anyway, so what that does is it makes it so that when you punch something out, it is not going to get stuck in there. Okay, so that's super, super desirable. Let me wipe these down really quick. Like I said, there's just that little coat of oil on them. And if you live in a really humid environment and you're not using this disc cutter very often or your other tools, I highly suggest that you keep this oiled paper and maybe just keep your disc cutter and the punches in the paper, and that way it will protect your tool from rusting. Okay, let's look and see what we've got now. So again, we have the base here, and what you do to open this up to be able to insert your metal, which of course I forgot to grab some metal because, you know, it's a live video. Why would I think to like have that all ready to go? All right, here's a little scrap I have sitting on my bench. Okay. So the way that this works is similar to the disc cutter in that, like the round disc cutter, sorry, I keep calling it disc cutter because that's what it is, but the round disc cutter. So you open this up and then you place your metal into the cutter, and then you can close this back down just by twisting. And the thing I like about that is that it keeps this nice and sturdy, and it keeps your metal tight, so that if you have to hit through to get hit a couple of times to get all the way through this, it makes it so that your metal doesn't move around. You guys know, like those dumb disc cutters that they just have that opening, and when you try to hit, then it will bounce around on you. That is eliminated with this particular disc cutter. Now, another thing too to keep in mind when you are creating any kind of a disc, you really should be shimming the other side of your disc cutter with whatever size of material. So I wasn't prepared, so I just cut a quick little corner off of the metal that I'm using for this, and I'm going to screw this back down. So now it is shimmed, and what that does is allows this disc cutter to come straight down. Hey Gwen, welcome back home from New Mexico, or as soon as you get there. So I'm glad you're watching with me. Okay, so now what we have here is we have the different sizes of our ovals. I love these because there's no way that I would be able to get these repeated if I were just trying to cut them out and then like rolling it through a rolling mill or whatever else the case might be for that. I'm not well versed with these quite yet, so you'll have to bear with me while I figure out which one's which. So the 6 sizes that they have, 6 by the way, is the most that any current disc cutter has on one machine like this. So I think there's another one that might be from Swanstrom that has maybe 4, maybe 5, but I know 6 is the most that any of them I've ever seen. So we have a 20 by 12, 20 by 15, 24 by 14, 25 by 18, 30 by 22, and 18 by 13. And so I love that it's well marked on here. You have the black oxide, which is going to help prevent the cutter base itself from doing any kind of rusting. Each of the stems on this is also going to be coated with this black oxide. Now, another thing that you want to see here, and this is going to be a characteristic trait of any really good disc cutter. I don't know if you guys can see this in the palm of my hand or not. Hopefully you can. I'll turn them both the same direction. But if you notice over here on this, in my case, both the way I'm holding it, on my left hand side versus the right hand side, the left hand is a little shorter than the right hand side. And so we have this degree of an angle here. It's actually 17 degrees to be exact. And this is what you want to look for anytime you look for any kind of a disc cutter, and that is going to be very desirable. And what that does is it allows your punch to begin to cut through the metal at one point and then gradually work its way through. Whereas if you just have a flat cutter there, you have to put the whole amount of force on your piece to push it through. So how do you use this? Well, I have my handy dandy trusty 1 pound brass hammer, which obviously you could do a 2 pound, 3 pound, whatever. I've got this over at Harbor Freight and it definitely is much loved. I would highly suggest you do a brass, so that way you're not damaging the posts on your punch here. Pat, I'm so glad you were able to catch me live as well, so welcome. Letty asked the question, does the shim need to be the same gauge as the metal you are cutting? Yes, absolutely. And so usually what I do is I will have, I created like a little set of gauges. And I took like a 1-inch square of each of my most commonly used gauges. So 22, 24, or let's see, 24, 22, 20, 18, 16, 14. And that way then if I'm using any of these, then I have that little shim ready to go. So I just punched a little hole in them, put a wire through and balled up the ends. So now, and I just keep them right over there with my disc cutters at all the time too. So what I'm going to do is just give a really good strike here. And I took a couple, but a lot of times you can get through in one. And now I have a perfectly cut oval that is going to be repeatable. And that right there is going to be lovely. And Letty asked, are all Pepe cutters designed the same way? Yes, these are. So yeah, so and then, okay, so Vicky No Middle said oval mandrels. And now here's another thing that would be kind of cool. Here is one thing that you can do. You could actually use this as like a bezel mandrel even. Like you would be able to easily wrap your bezels around this or your wire or whatever else. So it does have that ability. Now another thing that I'm really liking about this, and this is the first time I've seen this disc cutter, guys, so I'm kind of doing this on the cuff as well. The other thing I really like, in my round disc cutters, I still have students that will put my punches in upside down and then smack the striking end, or the cutting end, which of course is never good for any disc cutter, regardless if it's cheap or old. There's no mistaking, because obviously if you've got the oval sticking up, you're going to be able to tell, because our handles on this one are going to be round. So that's something you want to look for when you're looking at different disc cutters. So, you know, again, if I wanted to change the size, let's say we want to try this 30 by 22 millimeters. So again, I'm just going to open this up, get my metal in here, similar to what I do with my disc cutter. And the thing that's kind of nice about these two is that I like, you know, obviously you can see where your design is. So if you've got anything like that, you want to make sure that you're shimming on this. Okay, now another question that has been asked before is what gauge can you use, or what gauges can you use when you're doing this? By hand, you should be able to go through 18 gauge if you're doing this with a hammer. Okay, now that one was a little thicker. There we go. That one's a bigger piece, so obviously it's going to take a little bit more force to go through on this. I love this though. I mean, look at that. So now if I've got cabochons that are this size, or if whatever else, and quite honestly, a lot of times I don't even leave mine just as an oval. So I will take either a saw or a file, and I can come in and add some decorative edges to this as well. So it gives you kind of an idea. Now, when you are storing this, the way that these are stored, so I would close down the base itself. Oh, sorry, I just lost my camera. Hang on. It's coming back. There we go. This one doesn't like to stay on. So what you do is you're going to close it down and you put it into the base, just like so. Sorry about the little glitch there with the camera, guys. Anyway, so you put this back in the base, and now each of these are going to sit in here, and you'll notice that the holes are each round. Well, they're going to fit your the pegs, not the cutter itself. And that's kind of a good thing too, because what that allows you to do is to put your cutters face up, and it keeps them from getting damaged. But even if they had it where you could put it into the base, because the base is kind of a high density plastic, then it would still protect your cutters as well. So now the question is, where do you get these? Well, I don't have any currently in my stock, but I can special order them. I know that they are sold out through Pepe until just after Thanksgiving. So after Thanksgiving, I would be able to get a hold of these. And I want to say the retail, I need to look. I want to say the retail is probably about $300, which for an oval disc cutter is not bad at all. I know that there are a few other places, and I will include links for those. I know that Micro Tools has them, and I will include a link for you there. I believe that Contenti may have some. A&A Jewelry Supply, I believe, has an order of them. And I believe there might actually be one out on Amazon, but don't quote me yet. So I know that there's a couple places that do currently have them. If you are interested and you don't mind waiting until after Thanksgiving, then let's talk and I can get these in and get them shipped out to you as well. And like I said, I know that the price on them is about $300. I don't know the exact price right now because I just got it and you guys know what my schedule is like. So what kind of questions do you guys have? And it doesn't even have to be regarding the disc cutter, anything else as well. But I'd be happy to answer any questions for the next 7 minutes, because then I'm off to my next thing for the night. But anyway, so I hope you guys kind of enjoyed this. Obviously you guys know me, I love new tools. And if you guys haven't checked out my YouTube channel lately, you should really check it out. I'm working through the projects in the Alan Revere book, Professional Jewelry Making. And so I've already got 3 projects out there, plus my last video this week, I showed you how to make a draw bench. And then the next video, I may have to go out of order a little bit because I do not currently have the right size draw plate for the next project, but I have other projects that I have been working through in that book, and I will create videos on those as well. And Alan Revere was so gracious. He jumped in and thoroughly not only endorsed, but I can't even think of the right word, but he told me to go ahead and make the videos, and he's been very excited to have them out there as well. And it's a great companion to the book. If you guys haven't ever done this, I would highly suggest you look at Alan Revere's books. He's got, I don't know, 5 or 6 books that are out there, and they are just full of so much information. So I would highly suggest that. Okay, so Kathleen has asked, would it be appropriate to use this in a hydraulic press, and what gauge limit would you suggest doing so? That is a great question, Kathleen. And you want to know what? I'm going to show you guys this really quick too. Here we go. So I'm going to try to get this so that the camera does not turn off on me. Because of the way that the Pepe tools disc cutters are, they are ideal for the hydraulic press, because we are not dealing with a plastic handle that comes up and out that can easily be smacked by a hammer, or in the case of a hydraulic press, when you bring it down, you would run into that handle and it would make it so that you can't get to your punches without some kind of an extension pusher or something like that. So yes, a hydraulic press would be ideal for this, especially since we're metal here. It's lower profile. As far as your gauge, I would say I would probably limit it to 14 gauge. I don't know that I would try to push through greater than 14 gauge. So 16 and 14 gauge I would do with a hydraulic press, and anything, you know, up to 18 gauge, I would go ahead and do by hand with your hammer. And then Letty asked the question, is it okay to pick up the knob or the cutter with the handle or the knob like I do? Yes, it is. The way that this is threaded through, I mean, it's basically a bolt all the way through. So yes, it's totally fine to pick it up just like this. Matter of fact, a lot of times that's how I have to pick it up, because it's ground so even that there is not a really good way to pick that up. So yes, I always pick it up by the handle, and then from there I'll pick it up and move it whatever way. So good questions, thank you. So I'm glad you guys asked those. So now here's another thing too that I am going to be doing, and I would love to have some of you guys' feedback. I am going to start another feature on my YouTube channel, and it is probably going to be in on Fridays, like Friday or Saturdays. I haven't quite figured out what, but it's going to be basically jewel school, like a jewelry school, where we start from the very, very, very scratch, from the very beginning of maybe I know nothing and I want to start making jewelry, or maybe I want to start playing with it. So I'm going to start from the very scratch basics of, these are pliers, this is how you use them, this is how you don't use them, you know, this is what to look for in these. So it'll go along with Tool Time Tuesday, but it'll take a big step backwards, because Tool Time Tuesday is very quickly progressing into more and more and more advanced techniques, especially as I jump into these projects with the Alan Revere series. So I need some help coming up with a name. I've thought of the Weekend Jeweler. I've thought of Melissa's Weekend Jewel School. So I would love any kind of comments or suggestions on that. And then I was hoping to have it started this weekend, but it didn't work. And next weekend is Thanksgiving here in the US, so it won't be next weekend either. But the next weekend it should be. So that gives me a good solid week and a half to at least get some good videos going. I cannot thank you all for your support enough because you guys are wonderful. And I know that I'm totally late on doing my giveaway. My goal was to hit 20,000 subscribers. Not only have I hit 20,000, but I think I'm up to 2250 at this point. So I do have a great giveaway coming up that I've got some different tools that I'm giving away, some different materials, a couple finished pieces of jewelry as well. So that will be coming up this next week also. If you guys are not yet familiar with my YouTube channel, just go out to YouTube, search Melissa Muir, and you'll definitely find me. Letty says, she feels like the science of metal is so important to understand why we do what we do, vocabulary and definitions. You know what? I am to a point now where I forget a lot of the basic vocabulary because it is such a part of me and of my life now that I sometimes forget to go back and define certain things. So if you guys have questions on certain definitions or anything like that, I would definitely love to know those, and I will certainly hit those in a jewel school type of a setting. So I would, Letty, that was a fantastic feedback because I do sometimes forget I'm no longer a beginner, and all of these things are now just a part of my everyday life. So thank you, Letty. I will definitely hit some of those. And again, if you guys have some of those comments, leave them down in the comments, either of this or in other posts or out on my YouTube channel, or send me a message because I would definitely love to have that and get that for you guys. So all right, it is time to go to my next thing. So I appreciate you guys being here with me tonight. I'm so excited about this disc cutter. I will definitely have some more YouTube videos. Matter of fact, Tool Time Tuesday this week. I'm going to work on this weekend, but that's going to be my Tool Time Tuesday this week, is probably with this disc cutter, showing a few different things about that. And then we'll get going on our weekend jeweler stuff too. So make sure you guys tune in and join me. Thanks guys for joining me tonight. Sorry it's so convoluted and weird. It's definitely different trying to do a YouTube or a live video with this format. So, all right, you guys, you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you guys all soon on the flip side. Good night.